Welcome back to Standing on Business. I'm your host, Michael Perez. I'm here with your co-host, Jake.
Oh yeah, how we doing, guys?
Baker.
Introduce me.
Awesome. Nice to see you, man. And we're here with the team of tax accountants in Southern California out of Riverside, right? Riverside County.
Yep.
Nice. And it's actually GemTA and Accounting.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, tell us about you guys.
Shoot.
Whoever
Who
wants
starts?
to start.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
We'll
start.
go this way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, dang.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I guess we're just a tax and accounting firm. In Riverside, we work with small business owners, individuals. We do all kinds of things, and yeah. I mean, we're the three partners that run that firm, and I guess what do you guys want to
Introduce your name, yourself, like
Yeah.
when you got
Tell us
into the
about-
taxing.
Tell us about the business.
Yeah.
Definitely. Tell us about the business.
Yeah. So my name's Chris. I'm one of the partners, Chris Vera,
Mhm.
and I'm on. Do you mind if I plug myself in?
Plug it,
Yeah,
bro.
absolutely,
Plug
absolutely.
it.
Okay, cool. So our Instagram account is Team GemTA, and then my Instagram is at Chris the Accountant. And yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for about 5 years now, but I've been in business for almost 10. So it's been interesting going from tech, the previous area I was in, the previous industry, and then moving into tax and accounting. But it's been eye-opening seeing how businesses work, how the finances really come out at the end of the day. So it's been a crazy ride, but yeah, I mean, we were telling these guys, before this, we were actually running payroll, and today, like, I feel like the three of us were just like, holy crap, we've made so much progress in our business because there's so much stuff coming together and we're seeing it in front of us.
Nice.
And we just hired someone,
Oh, nice.
and they were like using our systems, and we're like, it's cool when you use your own systems, but it's even cooler when others come in and then they can use your
Dude.
challenging.
Yeah, right. You feel challenged,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I actually met Chris on Instagram. That's kind of how we plugged in today. So I'm really cool to see your Instagram and see you here now in person, man. Definitely.
Dude, 1 week.
Yeah.
Tall tag, huh? That's awesome, man. Then you, man?
Yeah, Alex. So, Alex Lopez. I run the tax department for Gem Tax and Accounting.
Nice.
And so it's kind of funny that you say that you guys met on IG because
Yeah.
I remember following his content. Some probably like I would say like 6-7 months before we even met.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, at the time, I had my own tax company.
Nice.
It was my virtual tax shop right before we kind of merged.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it was one of those things that I was like, man, I saw the power of Instagram and the power of social media just in general.
Right,
and it was
yeah.
something
Crazy.
that I was like, I really want to do that. And
Yeah.
so I remember seeing his content and I was like, oh, like we're kind of on the same page, similar amount of followers, things like that. And I was like, oh, I like his content. I like what he says. I saw people engaging and I was like, well, if, like this guy's kind of on ground zero, I'm like, so he's starting off, maybe I can emulate some of his content.
Yeah.
Instead of reinvent the wheel, just do what works,
Exactly. So
I agree,
that
man.
was kind of the goal at first. It never really happened. Time went on, and I worked in audit full time as well. So I had a really good 9 to 5. So I wasn't necessarily pushed at the time to really grow the business.
Mm-hmm.
Tax was more so something that I just really enjoyed. But yeah, it was random. I remember just hitting him up one day. I was like, hey man, like he posted something about a few people working together, and I was like, just random, just hit him up. Was like, hey, maybe you can hire me just as a joke. And he hit me back a week later, same thing. And he was like, hey, he's like, just on the off chance, he's like, your message ended up in the crap pile basically. And he
Yeah.
was like, he's
Yeah.
like, but I saw that you had followers. He's like, so I looked at your page and saw that you were actually a legitimate person, and was like, what do you do? And I mean, I didn't care to talk about the audit stuff. I was like,
Mhm.
the business is the stuff I'm talking about.
Absolutely,
So I was
yeah.
like, yeah, I do tax. And he was like, that's perfect. We're looking to work with somebody.
Let's go, yeah.
So I think like 2 or 3 days later, we grabbed lunch. I grabbed lunch with them, and we kind of hit it off. Like we were cool, and that was that, man. We started working together since then.
The rest was history.
The rest
Nice.
was history, man.
Nice.
That's beautiful,
So
man.
basically, that was gonna be one of my questions here, and the next coming questions is,
Yeah.
who started the whole alliance you guys have going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of just popped up.
Yeah, well, let's. I guess we could introduce him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Just
yeah,
jump in,
definitely,
jump in.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Before
awesome.
yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, man.
So yeah, my name is Jeff Salazar,
Mhm.
and so I met Chris like 5.5, 6 years ago at this point.
Oh damn.
And we actually started our endeavor together, trying to do YouTube.
Oh
So
nice.
when we say like we get what you guys are going through as far as like learning what this looks like, what
Let's
it feels
go.
like.
It's painful, I'll tell you that.
It really is. Yeah.
I'm sure you can see it on the face.
And we actually took a lot of our old content down, but we have a lot to reminisce through. Basically.
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
I mean, you're recording everything. So.
Absolutely.
But
It's fun to look back on, huh, and like laugh at yourself
Yeah.
almost, huh? I'm like,
Yeah, no,
wow, look at where we
yeah.
started, right? That's funny, man.
And it's a great way to like bond. We've been sharing videos with Alex too, and it's like, dude, this is where we started,
Yeah.
and like it's cool to reminisce a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, we started off on YouTube, and then as we were making content, we realized that we were trying to basically be like Graham Stephan or Meet Kevin.
Heck yeah, man.
Or like
The OGs, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like they're really good content creators, but we noticed that we weren't getting engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, we gotta build our credibility.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really wanted to build our credibility, and we were like, we have to start a business in something. And
You gotta do the work. You gotta do the work.
Exactly. And so around that time is when we basically started getting into like flipping houses, and then also trying to sell bookkeeping and doing accounting work and tax and accounting stuff. And,
Nice.
and so we've been
Standing on
doing-
business. I like that shit.
Yeah, and so it was a huge learning curve, like learning how to network with people, learning
Yeah.
how to sell services in general, how to build operations,
Yeah.
how to train people. And that's basically what we've been doing in the last 5 years. But we mainly met because Alina, which is Chris's girlfriend, I went to high school with her.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
I had a math class with her, and I saw that they were buying a house, or at least I thought they were buying a house.
Ah.
So to wrap back around to like Instagram stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Chris was posted in front of a house or something like that, or they were holding keys up.
Oh yeah, it was the home inspection I was at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
shirt.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I hit up Alina. I was like, oh, you're buying a house.
Congrats. Yeah, that's huge.
Congrats. And she's like, oh no, like this is actually my boyfriend. He's helping selling this house. He's a realtor.
You're like, no way. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you should come and meet him. And then we ended up meeting at In-N-Out, and we hit it off right away.
That's awesome, dude. That's dope.
Yeah.
Celebratory in and out is how,
That's so funny because we actually didn't get in and out. So we
Yeah.
went to
You
get
meant
coffee.
that?
We went to get coffee because we're like, yo, we're so tired and we work a lot. And
Yeah.
we went to In and Out. We started talking there, and then we're like, man, after like a couple of hours, we're like, my head hurts. Like, I wonder why. And it's because we're sitting in the sun in August.
Yeah.
And then we hadn't ate food the whole day. We're
Yup.
sitting at In and Out, but we haven't gotten food.
Oh my gosh, yeah, smelling it and everything. Huh? I kind of want some
Yeah.
In and Out after this.
lost in the conversation and trying to grow and
Yeah.
whatever you guys are doing. That's awesome. You were a realtor before then, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Cool. And then you have tech background too? Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. You just
I bounced around.
trying it all, huh?
Because your content is very good, actually.
Yeah.
like really good. From what I've seen, I haven't seen your guys' actual like your tax page, but I've seen your personal page. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And yeah, very impressive to say the least, man. Check all their Instagrams out. We'll put it in the descriptions too. All your
Yeah,
guys'
it'll-
IGs and stuff.
Yeah, they'll definitely be in the description. Quick question. So what inspired you? I mean, I guess I'll start with you. What inspired you to become an accountant?
Oh, I'm so glad you're asking this.
Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Been wanting to talk about this. Yeah, I like that.
It's funny because, like he said, we were doing YouTube and we realized we just needed credibility.
Mhm.
And I'm sure you guys are familiar with Ryan Pineda.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Ryan had an accounting company at one point, and I had experienced some work with like accountants in the past because of my ex, but now like it came back, and then we're seeing this video from Matt Bontrager, his partner who owned that accounting firm with him,
Mm.
and he's like, "Hey, the best side hustle now you can start is bookkeeping."
Bookkeeping.
And we were like, bookkeeping.
Mhm. Everybody needs it. Every business, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's essential. You don't need a license to get started. And then so we dove into it. Very shortly after that, I actually had gotten my taxes done with his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, she was doing taxes. And then I was like, hey, Jeff, I know this girl who can probably partner with us. So
Nice.
we'll bring her on.
Nice.
She's licensed. She can do a lot of the work, and we'll help her grow this business. Like, we'll all grow together.
Absolutely.
And that's how that all started. And then yeah, I mean, we basically got started because we needed credibility, but we also noticed that a lot of business owners don't know about tax and accounting. And
Very
it's
true.
crazy because it's like accounting is the language of business. So like for you not to know that, like, how can you talk business?
That's so true.
So-
That's beautiful to break it down like that. Like, because like That's absolutely true, man. Like
You
my
gotta know where your
dad,
money's going. You gotta know
yeah,
how much
my
money you're coming in.
my
going
dad
out.
had a painting business for years, and every year he dreaded doing taxes, like finding all his receipts and
Yep.
doing all that. Like, oh man, like I was like, dude, just have a personal. Like our grandpa was a freaking bookkeeper, you know. Like what are you doing? But yeah, it's funny. Shout out, Dad. Sorry, I still love you, man. But yeah, we all learn. That's how we learn.
And I mean, you
Yeah.
went to college for it. So what
Yeah,
got you
it's-
started in accounting?
So for me, it was I was in math and engineering when I first started. That was really the goal.
Nice.
It was just to make a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell
That was-
yeah.
that was pretty much the goal.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
I had a professor in a math class, and he used to work for like an architect company, engineering company, where all he would look at would be the numbers to basically say, do the numbers based on what you're trying to produce or trying to build, will this building fall? Literally just looking at the numbers, not looking at plans, but do the numbers make sense? Can we build this?
It's the easiest way to measure success of anything, right? Is numbers or anything, right? To look at the
Exactly.
metrics of the numbers. And,
Exactly.
yeah.
So his I don't remember exactly what he did, but I know he was a numbers guy. He was like, do the
Nice.
numbers, right? Because it's like architects that say, this is what I want to build.
Mhm.
They can draft the plans and it might make sense on paper, but they're the ones that are saying down into concrete, like, will this
Wow.
work? And so
Yeah.
his job was to basically verify that, and he made a boatload of money doing that.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that was just an interest, and that's kind of where I started. And I was always good at math, but I started taking this was in community college. I started taking the classes, and I realized I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Like,
You didn't like it, or you didn't like the math classes that you had to take for it? Like,
No, I thought I was like, this is too much for me.
yeah,
I started learning about just really advanced mathematics, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's not for me.
yeah.
Lots of.
Yeah, I
I
was
want to
like,
say
there's
lots
no-
of number, but that's just too like.
Yeah, exactly.
Generic,
And
but
so
yeah.
I actually landed on economics, and I found it to be more interesting. And so
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
it's funny because I haven't told a story in a long time, but when I was in high school, I used to walk to school
Mhm.
every day, and it was about an hour walk, so it was like 2 or 3 miles. And I graduated in 08, and I walked. I had a car at 16, ended up wrecking it. We can go into that some other time.
Yeah.
Next
Basically,
episode.
So in 07, my last year when I started, I was actually walking to school again.
Mhm.
And I remember seeing all these houses for sale. And I would see more and more pickets out,
Mhm.
like with houses for sale. And I was like, what the hell? Like, that's weird. And I would always pick up the papers because I like to see the houses, see what they look like and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would see a lot that would say, like, they would have like a sign attached, say price reduced, price reduced, price reduced.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, what the hell? And I remember seeing this one guy. He used to drive at the time it was like a Saline Mustang, and that was like the shit back then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like that was like super expensive. He had like a tiny house. And I was just like, and I knew he was a blue collar guy, and like at the time blue collar wasn't making the money that it does now. And so I
Mhm.
remember thinking like, what the hell? Like, how does this guy do all this? And just seeing that every day, day in and day out, literally for a year, and seeing like, like friends and stuff, like their families losing their homes and like going underwater and shit like that.
This is sort of during the recession.
This is during the
time,
recession.
right?
So I was like, I just got interested in it,
Mhm.
and I was like, what the hell is happening?
The curiosity
Yeah,
built.
and
yeah.
I remember telling some friends about it, and they were like, dude, you're crazy. Like, from my parents, I learned that you buy a house and basically like it just goes up in value.
Mhm.
That's what people knew, and I was like, no, that's not true. I
The
just saw these
basic.
houses
Yeah.
that are like their prices are cut, and I had no idea why.
You're literally watching the market
I'm
as
really
you walk
watching
into
the
school.
market tank, and I'm just
Wow.
like,
That's crazy.
why am I in high school? I shouldn't be buying all these houses, right? And so that intrigued me in general in economics and housing and real estate in general. And so when I was in college, I wasn't as interested. Like I did other things, but then I landed on economics, and that's where I stuck to.
Mhm.
I kind of went back to my roots, you can say, and I started learning about banking and all that stuff. And I got my degree, and at the end, it was one of those things I was like, I ended up in accounting because I couldn't switch. I was in my last year of college, and I was like, this is the last year they're gonna give me loans. I wanted to switch, but I was like, nah, let me just finish.
Had
and
to
then I
bite
can
the
figure out
bullet.
my life out after that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I knew that I could do banking with the degree, so that's what I got into.
Nice. I mean, the numbers started to add up after you see
Yeah.
money in dollars coming
Exactly.
through, right?
So I knew that was like, well, banking, you can make a lot of money.
Nice.
And
Oh,
so
yeah.
that was pretty much the goal. It wasn't necessarily accounting, but it was
Mhm.
just, I want to get into banking, and I don't need a business degree to get it. Like, if anything, economics helped me stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody
Absolutely.
that applied to these banking jobs were business majors.
Right.
And it was like, well, this one guy
So
in
to see-
economics, what's up with that?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So-
That's
I like
fire.
it. The
That's actually
difference.
really
Yeah,
fire.
yeah. And then what about you, man? What got you like into this?
Your girlfriend was tax, or did you?
Yeah, so we met each other as
Mhm.
business partners first, and then eventually we started dating.
Mhm.
Nice. Oh shoot. That's
Oh
some-
wow. Yeah, yeah.
If you're out there, I'm
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
for you
yeah.
now.
Yeah, man, seriously.
That's awesome, bro.
Business has
Congrats.
literally been the main thing that has made things happen in general for me, like in life, in money, in family,
Yeah.
and like in a lot of different ways. And
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
But I actually started mainly because again, it was trying to get the credibility somehow.
For YouTube and content creation,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And then I told Chris, I was like, yeah, dude, I can learn bookkeeping. Like, we can do this for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually went to undergrad for physics.
Nice.
And I even graduated. So I went to Cal State San Bernardino, and then I went into the PhD program at UCI for astrophysics.
Nice,
so that I
dude.
can try to like really get into
Yeah.
a career like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But the reason I didn't want to do that is because most people don't know this, but you actually get paid to get your PhD.
I didn't know that.
So your PhD should be free, and then on top of that, you should make at least like a living wage. But the amount of money that I was making a month was like $1,000.
Oh
and
wow.
my rent was like $700.
Yeah.
And then $300 for food.
Not enough to live
And-
on by
yeah,
any means. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not at
it's
all.
Crazy.
And then I'm living in
Mhm.
Irvine.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
dude.
dude.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was a terrible experience. And then on top of that, I didn't know how to manage stress. I didn't know how to manage
Yeah.
workload.
How old were you at that time, if you don't mind me asking, going through all this?
This was 2018, so
Mhm.
6 years ago already. I was 23 years old. at the
Right.
time.
So still fairly young, you know, to be
Yeah.
dealing with all this life stress and
Yeah,
all this
exactly.
stuff, man. Absolutely. Especially when you're not dealt those cards beforehand, and like, so it's forced upon you to just
Yeah.
you see. Oh, I could only imagine. Yeah.
No, man. And on top of that, like I realized that I was the youngest person in the program.
Oh
Everyone else, they
wow.
were in their 30s.
Oh
Hell
damn,
yeah.
that's crazy,
And so I was
bro.
like,
W.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It felt
That-
really weird.
Yeah. Probably good, but kind of like, oh shit, like what am I doing,
Yeah,
huh?
no,
Yeah, a
like,
little intimidating, huh?
Some of them were already married. Some of them already had kids, and
Yeah.
all these things. And I was like, this is like really intimidating. I was definitely dealing with imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah.
Like a crazy amount.
Mhm.
But ultimately, I was just like, this isn't for me in general. Because even if I do graduate with a PhD, it's not like I'm gonna make a crazy amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I should just leave. Like, I can just get an engineering job now
Mm-hmm.
and just start making money. And so I did that. And I was like,
nice.
long story short, I got an engineering job. I did that for a while. And then I was like, I can't do this. I made money and I invested into Tesla.
Nice.
And that skyrocketed.
Let's go.
Yeah.
got-
W Jeff. Let's
Yeah.
go.
But long story short, I had some cash I could sit on. And I
Mhm.
had basically a runway fund. And
Nice.
then that's when Chris and I were like, yeah, dude, like I got free time. He can make his ends meet
Mm-hmm.
with the way that he was making money at the time. We're like, dude, let's do this. Like,
Yeah, let's invest this free time that we have right now to
Exactly.
capitalize on it. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
that's awesome, man. That's beautiful.
That's. I mean, it's tough. It's tough, but that's kind of what it takes. You got to have that free time more than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the risk too, because
Oh yeah.
like leaving the program was a huge like step for me. It was really scary to do that. It's like
Mhm.
dropping out basically. I dropped out.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then leaving the engineering job as well. is
Another
huge
risk, bro. Yeah,
And then throwing in all of my money into a
Mhm.
stock.
a
It's
huge
a
risk.
crazy amount of risk. And
I
then-
just. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, man. But as I was gonna say, I'm sure you can see no risk, no reward, though, right?
exactly.
Like, so those risks are good to take for you young bucks out there watching this that are nervous, or because like that's what held me back for many years in my life was I was comfortable. I didn't want to take risks. I didn't want to. But man, I wish I would have. You know, the more you fail, like I wish I would have failed more often and whatnot. You know, and
I've been walking around
Absolutely.
all week. I'm not even joking, you guys, saying success is scary. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be afraid to put myself in these positions. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm literally joking when I say this, but like I'd be afraid to jump on a jet to go to work every day. Like that
Yeah.
sounds scary. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
That's a great problem to have.
yeah, that's a beautiful problem. to
Hey.
have. Well, yeah.
hey, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, were you guys inspired like by your like adults in your life as growing up as young teens or young kids?
100%.
Yeah.
Were you guys inspired or like even set up from like money wise, financial wise to go to college and to pursue entrepreneurship?
No.
No, straight to the point.
No,
No.
I mean that's why I asked, because it's
Mhm.
important for people to know, like, that people like yourself are doing it, even though like they might have come back from I don't know what the background is, but maybe a terrible background. So I
Mm.
mean, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about where you came from
Where you
and
guys
what
come from,
inspired
yeah.
you to be an entrepreneur if it wasn't the adults.
So for me, it was the fact that I'm the youngest of three siblings. So like I'm the youngest. My oldest brother is like straight A student, fucking
Mhm.
like from pre-K to
Yeah.
12th grade or even college, like straight A's, A plus, A plus, A plus for everything.
Nice.
And
Strong.
he gets out of school and then he's like, yeah, I'll become a doctor. Goes off to do that. Goes to the military. Was like a leader in the military. Does everything he says, and like he's making all this money, so the bar was super high.
Oh, I
But
bet.
my mom's like,
Wow.
yeah, like you need to be like him, or you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna be anything.
Mhm.
And in a nice way.
Right.
But I was
That
like,
tough love.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's
We need
Stone Cold.
that.
That's Stone Cold.
Yeah. I'm like, no, like I don't want to do this because I think you know when you're meant to do more. Like
Mhm.
you're called to do more. And I think like I was sitting in class and I was like, what am I doing here? Like
Mhm.
I know that all the stuff I'm learning here is absolutely useless for me. And it's not that school is useless. I think it just depends how you utilize that education.
Yep.
But I was like, this is not for me. Like what I want to do, none of this applies. And even my professor was like, hey Chris, like I can tell you're not a dumb kid, but like I can see you have bigger dreams. So like honestly you should drop out. And for a professor to tell me that, I was like, yeah, I'm fucking out of here.
Straight to the point too, huh?
Nice.
That again goes back to the tough love. He could see that you were destined for more. You probably weren't like 100% focused or whatnot,
Yeah.
whatever have, but
Fun
that's strong.
fact, actually, I heard it from some drunk chick the other night. I'm not gonna lie, but
My
she
favorite.
Said, yeah, dude, all night she was like, I was like, dude. But then she said this, and it blew my mind. She was statistically, with the creativity and that type of mindset, you're gonna outwork the valedictorian, and they're gonna work for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
yeah.
You know, like,
Wow,
the
where is
person-
this woman? I'd like to know.
Trust me, you don't want to know.
It's like now that I look back, I do have like my friends from high school and college like on Facebook and Instagram, and I see them and they're like, fuck man, like I worked so hard to be this person and like I'm over here stuck at a job. Like I'm making good money, I might have a house, I might have this or that, but like it's not actually what you think it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I knew that this was not how it was.
Right.
Like,
And they can't even leave. They can't even take the risk at like once you're so deep in, you can't even take the risk or to bet on yourself for your dreams or everything because you risk losing everything, like your house, your car, you're in handcuffs, man. And that's like that's
I call
scary.
it the rat race. I don't know.
It's
what.
scary,
it's-
bro.
You lock yourself in for a payment. Here it comes again.
Mhm.
Here it comes
Every
again.
month, it's gonna
so
be
you have to
there.
Keep chasing that same payment every time.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
it's scary. And I mean, that's good to
Mhm.
know that you felt something better and stronger within yourself to keep pushing for greatness.
Yeah.
and beyond.
Your
you
own
know?
personal success too,
Yeah.
That's
Definitely. I
crazy.
mean, and you went to college where like you have family that was like, yeah, we're gonna make sure that you go to college. We're gonna make sure that the tuition's paid for, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I was pushed into it a little differently.
Mhm.
Really.
Yeah, so I got in a lot of trouble as a kid.
Nice.
So-
Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
This is
for speed, that's him and
Yeah. I was gonna say I could tell I like this guy.
Yeah, so I got in a lot of trouble as a kid, and I ended up in basically a youth accountability program when I was 16.
Mm,
And like I wasn't a bad kid. I just like to street race,
yeah.
and I like to take things apart, put them back together. That's the engineering in me that wanted to do
Mhm.
that.
Hell yeah.
And so I ended up in a program, basically to avoid jail. And they had me do. I was like not on like probation, but it was very similar. So basically, the people that oversaw me were retired probation officers, and so I don't know if you've seen Scared Straight.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Think of that.
Mhm.
Like that's the type of program I went through.
Pre-jail or
Yeah,
like
exactly.
pre
Basically,
yeah.
right before it's too late for you.
Mhm.
I ended up in a program like that.
Yeah, it's a blessing too. Yeah, absolutely,
and
for
I
sure.
ended up doing I was doing community service at a church in downtown Riverside every Wednesday, and a lot of UCR students would go there. And so there was also like professors and like counselors from different schools and stuff. And like I never believed that you needed to go to school to be wealthy. Like my dad was successful. My dad only went to second grade.
Oh, damn.
I mean, at that time, my dad already My
Dang.
my dad was smarter than most of the people I knew. So
That's interesting. That's so
Yeah.
super interesting. We gotta have your dad come on the podcast.
Yeah. We're
Cool as
gonna
hell.
have to translate.
Yeah.
Your Spanish episode.
Yeah. That's cool as hell, though.
You speak Spanish?
Yeah.
I just assume Spanish.
Shout out Pops.
Yeah, I try to get him on. But he, to me, where he came from, and not just the education, but just where he came from in general, to like be able to have a family, even own a home, for me was like amazing.
Inspiring, dude.
And so like he was the one that inspired me really.
That's
But
good.
he was, they didn't harp on the education. That's why I didn't care to go to school. And I saw him and I was like, he didn't go
Who
to
needs
school.
it?
Like,
Yeah.
I don't need that. But basically, you know, I found a counselor, and I don't remember her name, but she was from La Sierra High School.
Shout out.
Shout out to La Sierra. She was
Shout
a
out
counselor
you,
there.
Miss
And
Counselor.
she pushed the college on me, and she knew why I was there, because there was UCR students, but those students were, you know, they were there for either for school or for other things and stuff. And so I was the only one that was there because I was in trouble. And so she was like, "This is obvious. This kid's in high school. Like, he's got to be in trouble." And I look like a bad kid. So, yeah, she kind of pushed it on me. She helped me do like the study for the SATs and all that. And
Nice.
that's kind of how I ended up going to school. But I felt like the school thing had a ceiling, because I would see jobs that I would want to get. And that's why I would keep switching careers.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what jobs make the most money? And I would land on different jobs. I'm like, I like this, but there's a ceiling, and it's telling me there's a cap of like, this is the average, like 120, 125. And so I was like,
But the guy who owns the business, he's, you know,
exactly. You know, I didn't even think that far, but for me, it was just, I don't want to make 120, right? Like I would see the numbers and I'm like, I don't want to make that.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be at the top,
Hell yeah.
whatever that is. And then it was just, as I got older, it was like, well, a business has no cap. So it was a very easy choice for me. I was like, I can do this, learn the professional stuff in the corporate world. And that's really what I did. And so I was like, I'm going to take this. And then it was just like, at some point it was just, I want to talk to the clients, because I want to see what that interaction is supposed to be like. I want to see, how do we build this? And basically looking at all those aspects of my job at the time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, because that's how I'm going to get rich. Because I mean, the firm I used to work for, and I don't know if I'd get in trouble, so I don't want to say their name, but I was working for a top 10 CPA firm, and they were billing me at $300 an hour.
Whew.
I'm
Good
not
money,
making
yeah.
$300 an hour. So it's very easy for me. I'm like, I can learn this. I can develop the contacts, and like I can undercut them because I don't have that much overhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
250.
I
I'll
can
do
charge
250.
an
Huh?
hour, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, $250 an hour, like that's lawyer money. Like,
Absolutely.
some like a corporate lawyer money. So I was like, well, like that's the route.
Yeah.
But
It's that entrepreneur mindset that puts you in that bracket, because someone could just be like, you know, this is cool. Like I'm good. Like I don't want to miss. I don't want to lose. It's scary. Like we were saying earlier, it's a risk, a big risk. But
exactly.
you
But that
bet
was
on yourself.
That was really the inspiration. And I mean, by that time, my dad had already grown and sold like 4 different businesses.
Nice.
So I was like,
nice.
yeah, there's no way, dude. I'm
Pops.
not gonna do the corporate life forever.
Yeah. No.
So,
And it goes to show that it doesn't matter if you are set up, if you aren't set up, the role models, it's just your mentality. Like it really is your mentality, or how you take your blessings, or your curses, or whatever it is that's trying to hold you back.
yeah.
If it is something that's holding you back, if it is something that's pushing you forward, it's gonna, I mean, at least affect you, and you're gonna take it however you take it. And you can either go 2 routes with it. You can run with it and be successful and try to be your best, or you can just be like, I'm gonna be cookie cutter. I'm gonna work for that job, and 9 to 5 is cool with me.
Yeah.
You
That
know?
golden hat cup shit, that is
Yeah.
fucking real, dude.
They can keep it.
like no other. It's so hard once you get to a point where
Yeah.
you can afford everything, and then you can go on the trips and do all that, do the corporate money, and just like, but it's
Yeah.
oh,
It's-
fuck.
I feel like
It's
that's
a
what they
mind
do.
fuck.
That's what they do is they give you just enough. It's almost like modern day slavery if you think about it. They give you just enough to have a house, a car, food, and a little bit to be a little bit more than comfortable, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as you start to derail from that, you have the possibility of losing it all. So it's like they keep you right there in that sweet spot of like you have just enough, but not enough to, because like if they did pay you more, then you'd be, and if you're smart with it, obviously, but you'd be able to invest your way out of it, right? Like save up and like, and then they would lose the retention, right? So it's very interesting to see how the corporate systems work. Like we're gonna give you we're gonna give Chipotle $20 an hour, which it's good money. It's enough to survive, but it's not enough to like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to really make it out of Chipotle or whatever, you know? So interesting.
Just keep you there.
And it
Yeah.
starts at 18.
Yeah.
And you get a college loan.
Yeah.
When you
Oh,
don't even get a
dude.
business loan.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Credit cards and all this.
I kind of
like-
wanted to break off into one of my old managers. I used to work at a Nissan store, and I came in with a new motorcycle, and I was stoked. I was like, "Yeah, I just bought this new bike. You know,
Yeah.
I'm stoked." He's
Big
like, "What's
dog.
He was just like, "Oh, we love that. We love that you did that because now you're not going anywhere."
You're literally stuck. Yeah.
You're
like,
straight
damn.
up. That's
Slap
what
in
he
the
said.
face,
Yeah, he's like,
huh?
"We love that
Yeah.
you did that.
Yeah.
Get comfortable. We'll
But
see you
I
tomorrow."
bet you you'll never
Yeah.
forget that. You'll never forget that,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah. Where's the motorcycle now? Huh?
Yeah, exactly. No, and I think the car business is a little different business, and I think he knew like what he was doing by telling me that, like, "Oh, good job," like sarcastically, like, but
Mhm.
you know, maybe think a little stronger next
Yeah.
time.
He's like,
you know?
damn, I wish I had that motorcycle. That's what he's thinking on. What about you though, man? How was your upbringing? Like, did you you know, if you had people pushing you or whatnot?
yeah, I mean, for me, 100%.
Mhm.
My parents are like the biggest inspiration to me as
Nice.
far as like, I mean, I'm not the only one with this type of story.
Mhm.
My dad is from Mexico and my mom's from Guatemala,
Mhm.
and so they came to this country and they stayed in this country literally just because I was born here.
Mhm.
And in other words, they were giving me an opportunity to be raised and
Let's
to
go.
fulfill
Beautiful.
my dreams in this country.
So you had a high standard to set, or yeah.
It's a high
Mhm.
bar.
It's a high bar, man, for sure.
And as I was growing up, not particularly like in high school because I was still dicking around. At the time.
Right?
But,
Yeah,
like-
as we all are, right?
Yeah.
Young boys, young men, huh? Yeah.
But once I got closer to my graduation in undergrad, I realized that I didn't even know what I was doing. And then I talked to my dad, and he didn't necessarily like tell me these things, but just the conversation just led to the fact that my grandpa, he basically was the first one to like buy like a cornfield in Mexico, and that's what fed. We're good.
Mhm. Yep, you're good. Yep.
That's what fed the family, and I mean Mexican families are big.
Oh, dude, yeah,
So,
yeah.
I got
Lots of cousins, lots of siblings. Yeah.
yeah, I got 9 aunts and uncles,
Mhm.
and a bunch of cousins, and more than I can count.
Dang.
And they came here. My parents came here, and they basically were the first ones to live here in the United States, and first ones to buy a home in the family.
Wow.
And then I was the first one to get a degree, and so there's a lot of firsts happening.
In
Yeah,
your
yeah.
in your immediate family too.
Yes,
Like that's
exactly.
beautiful, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Pressure
so,
was on.
Pressure was
essentially.
on.
Exactly, yeah. And then I realized, I was like, wait, similar to like what Alex went through, he's like, well, my dad didn't get a degree, but he's still making good money.
Mhm.
At the time, I mean, we were about to lose a house like in 08, 09
Mhm.
season as well, recession. And when things got better over time, when I was in undergrad, my dad was still making like 130, 140.
Let's go.
So like that's
Good
still
money.
good money, yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Especially back then too, you know.
yeah, exactly.
It's
And
good
so
money.
Yeah.
when I was looking for jobs, deciding between getting a job or going into the PhD program, I was like, well, I think I should look for a job first. And then all these jobs are paying like 80,000, 90,000.
Mhm.
And I was like, wait, so
With a degree
with
too,
a
huh?
degree,
Like
I'm gonna
something
be
ain't adding
making
up.
less than, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't right. That's why I was like, you know what? I need a little more time. I'm going to go into this PhD program.
Yeah. And what'd your dad do when they got over here?
So he's been doing this for 29 years, my age.
Mhm.
He started the year that I was born in cable construction.
Okay.
So basically, you guys don't have you guys live in a nice neighborhood, so you don't have the telephone poles.
Mhm.
But the telephone poles that are running the electricity and all the cable and internet,
wow.
he's working on the bottom lines.
Okay.
Replacing like the strand there, the telephone, the fiber optic
Mhm.
Yeah.
cables.
Fiber optics, yeah, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it's actually a huge thing, and it's super dangerous too, though. You
It
know,
is.
like very dangerous. That's why they get paid the big bucks, though, is because they could literally get electrocuted and fall and die. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah, seriously. Yeah, so he operates like bucket trucks.
nice,
Trucks that
dude.
like pull up a man
Mhm.
to the
Yeah.
top of
Yeah.
that
Right.
pole.
Yep.
Yep.
And so that's what he does. He's basically digging holes and climbing poles.
Let's go. That's
So-
savage. Yeah.
Let's go.
I have a special place in my heart for just blue collar workers because I've worked construction damn near my whole life. That's why I'm actually trying to like break away from it and try to figure out something like work a
Trying
little
to
bit.
join the digital
Yeah,
age.
work a little or smarter, not harder, you know, because like I've witnessed, I was actually in North Dakota in the oil fields for 8 months, and dude, like all the older gentlemen that I'd be working around, they're walking like hunched
Mhm.
over and missing fingers, and I'm like, dude, like I get it. We make good money, but like at what cost?
Exactly.
Like, you know, it's like I want to be able to enjoy my life. Like I don't want to, you know, like die in the process or whatever. But it's interesting. But the blue collar workers, they always have a special place in my heart, you know. So shout out all you guys. But
Yeah, no, seriously, and
yeah,
I even think that like the future is literally blue collar, literally just because no one wants to
because no
do
one
it.
wants to do it. Yeah,
No one
that's
wants to do it these
They say
days.
plumbers are like the top rated key hack, even though it's not a hack, but it's like,
Profession.
Grant
yeah.
Cardone actually did. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this episode, but he did a comparison from a plumber and a doctor, and the amount of years in debt that the doctor had to go
Oh,
through from
okay.
18. You seen that study that he did?
Yeah.
It's impressive to say the least. I believe up until age like 45, the plumber made more money per year, and disregarding the debt and all that stuff. But because you know you don't have to take out much debt to be a plumber. You
Right.
learn on the job. You start at 18 and you learn, and up until about 45, I think that's when the doctor started to surpass the plumber. But I was like, damn, dude, like
Yeah. Yeah.
even then, like I could live comfortably, you know, like on that salary. But
I think the caveat with that though is
Mhm.
that if you do end up going the plumber route
Mhm.
or even like the lower income route, but you
Mhm.
can still make just as much as a doctor, the doctor can dick around a lot longer.
That's true.
And like they'll have so much more money that like anything that they buy, like even if they want to just I don't know buy a nicer
Splurge.
car,
Mhm.
yeah, they want to splurge a little bit,
Mhm.
they'll still make it to a very nice retirement.
That's very
But
true.
that plumber is gonna have to be crazy disciplined
Yeah,
just to make sure that they can get to the
that's
same
so
level,
true.
That's a
you
good
know?
point.
That's a very good
really
point. That's a
Yeah.
very good point.
And I
Actually,
think that's why people get stuck in the rat race.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
that is
insanely
true.
hard to build that discipline.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially when like the plumber next door just bought a F-350 and you
Yeah,
want to one up 'em.
Yeah.
right.
No, it's really inspiring to hear that you guys, obviously had some, background and if not like someone pushing you to be better and be stronger, you guys at least took the initiative in yourselves to push entrepreneurship and do better yourselves. But I mean, I guess what could you just for anybody that might be watching that doesn't understand too much about tax and accounting, what benefits would someone benefit from you guys, or how would someone benefit from your guys' service?
Is it only a business? Does it like? Do you have to own a business to benefit, or can like
Oh,
the
no.
average person? You know, it's like so. That was a question that I had actually. Was like, does the average person like myself without a business, so to speak, do I need a tax accountant, or is it only for someone who owns a business, or so to
Yeah,
speak?
yeah, definitely.
I think so. If you have a business, it opens up more doors.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have way more opportunity to, invest your money, do all these different things.
Save money on
Save
yeah.
on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for everyone because everyone pays taxes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you make money in the U.S. or really anywhere outside too,
Yeah.
anywhere you go, there's tax. So
Mm-hmm.
the best thing you can do is understand it because it's crazy. Like we did our taxes and we made money this year or last year. And then we
Congrats.
did her taxes, yeah, and it's cool. Like you were making our own money, and then most people get to tax season, they're stressed. And obviously we're accountants, so we know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But tax season came around, and we're just like messing with numbers. It's all legal,
Mm-hmm.
but like we come out and we're like, oh wow, we don't owe anything.
Yeah. Beautiful. It's a beautiful feeling, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and it's like it's cool because even our clients, they get to see this too. Like whenever we work with, right now we have this client who she blew up like in 2-3 years. She went from like literally making 10K a year
Oh
as
wow.
a substitute teacher. She dropped that and then she went into like she does Disney inspired, basically bucket hats, masks, fanny packs, all kinds of stuff.
Really?
And she's like very close to hitting 7 figures. Like she probably will pass that in the next year or so.
Let's go. That's
And,
awesome.
Yeah, and then now we're gonna be doing a lot of like tax advisory work with her. So that's basically most people know when they think of taxes, they're like, okay, every year tax season comes around, I pay and I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, well, what if you just plan ahead, and then you can just reduce that tax bill?
Strategize. Absolutely.
Strategize.
It's beautiful.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard to be prepared. If you prepare, if you get, like they say, if you get ready, you don't have to, or if you stay
Yeah.
ready, you don't have to get ready, right?
Yeah.
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 And so basically what you're saying is like a handcrafted personal business that she started herself. She went from 10K a year to now almost $1 million.
Yeah, basically in that business. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow,
That's
yeah.
a huge jump for her. Huh? I'm sure she's like ecstatic, man.
Oh, yeah.
I could imagine.
But I mean, with someone that's making 10K a year, probably has no idea how to manage, or at least manage it in the tax form, $1 million, or like,
Mhm.
half $1 million. And I'm sure you guys come into play with some very strong strategies and some very good advice at the least, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like what Jeff was saying. It's like the whole I think he said it earlier, like threw it in real quick. It's about building habits.
Mm-hmm.
So like even if you're making 10,000 a year, I mean people are like, oh, I'll worry about that when I'm a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not just gonna know that by the time you're a millionaire.
Yeah, overnight, it's not gonna just come to you, you know?
Like, oh, I hit a million. Okay, I know how all the tax and account code or like it all works. I'm good.
Yeah.
No, it takes like you have to build the discipline. Like you have to put the habits in. Like now when we pay ourselves, like back when I was younger, I was like, all right, let's go spend on like clothes. Let's go fuck
Yeah, yeah.
around.
Yeah.
And now we're like, okay, we got to set aside, 20, 30% for taxes. We
Nice.
gotta invest this money here. We want to reinvest in the business this way. And
Mm-hmm.
we're thinking with about every card we can play with. So
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
I guess that brings up a really good point. I mean, I'm sure people think like, what, I have to pay 20, 30% of my income, like to just straight to the IRS, like, and it's going into the air. Like, what,
Yeah.
is there ways that someone could maybe play with their money to benefit their business, obviously, to not have to, and obviously benefit from it in their own life, to not have to spend it all and give 20, 30% of their income to the IRS?
Yes. So the long story is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the more you have, the more you have to play with. Like the more rules you can use to your advantage. Right.
The more you
So
make, the more
you have
ball
more-
game you have. Huh?
Exactly,
Mhm.
right? Like you hear it all the time, and people never take it to heart. But the tax code is written for investors and business owners. It
Mhm.
really is, because they're the ones that are incentivized to hire people. Like I could give you an example. Like
Yeah. Please.
this was all over the news. Like about I forgot the name of it. It's skipping my mind right now, but it was basically an employee credit. But it was all over the news. It was the commercials about it, like, oh, get the employer credit for 26K or whatever.
Employee
Yeah,
retention credit?
Employee retention credit, right?
Wow.
So exactly, right? You're not even a tax con, you're aware of
I
what
know
it is, right?
exactly. Yeah. what you're
So
talking
it's like
That applied on.
exactly. So it's one of those things that's like that's not available to somebody who's not offering jobs.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Like obviously there are things that you need to qualify, right? Which
Mhm.
we're not going to discuss, but it's
You can't just have an LLC and just
yeah,
say,
you can't just have an LLC
You have to prove it,
and have
right?
yourself as a business, right? Like there's requirements, but it's like that's not available to an employee, right? Of let's say a VP of a company that's making 250K. That's not
Mhm.
available to them.
Right.
They can't take advantage of that, right? Like there's obviously things that they can do, but it would be outside the scope of their W-2.
Mhm.
But it really is. It's written like if I'm netting 250K as a business owner versus somebody who's working as an employee making the same amount of money, I will have much more that I can write off.
Oh yes.
Like I will, as a tax account, obviously I know the code; it's a little bit different. But
Mhm.
even if I wasn't, I have more tools for me than that person has for them.
Mhm.
Like so, I could leverage that better than they could their income.
right.
Right.
I-
So it's and something else I like to tell people too, whenever they think of tax planning and stuff or tax strategy, is
Mhm.
like I start to lay out like everything they pay tax for.
Nice.
Like no, because nobody, when you build a budget, for instance, how many times you see people add a tax line to their budget?
Never.
Never.
I've never.
They're hiding their net income because that tax has evaporated their income.
Wow.
Right. So it's like when somebody makes 100K, they're not putting 100K on their budget. They're
Mhm.
putting the 75 or 80K they're getting after tax.
Yep.
They're already considering that money gone, and it's like, dude, think about
What
it.
if we didn't consider it gone already?
25%
Yeah.
of your income went to tax, and then you pay sales tax on pretty much everything you buy.
It's infinite tax,
You pay
bro.
property tax. You pay tax on the gasoline you put in your car,
Mhm.
and so it's like some of these things like sales tax and stuff. You can't necessarily escape it, right? That's hard. If you go buy stuff, you're gonna pay tax.
Right.
But it's like, why wouldn't you look at the 25% that they're taking out of your pocket up front?
Absolutely.
And
Exactly.
it's like you said, it's about being proactive,
Mhm.
right? And so I try to show people that, and I think it's like, look, you made 100K in a year, but given all the taxes you pay on your income tax, Social Security, all these things you pay, plus that, I'm like, you're actually spending only half your money
Wow. That's
between
crazy.
the sales tax and property tax and everything else you pay. If you really add all
Mhm.
your tax, you're talking about that's 35-40% of your budget
Jeez, man.
for somebody who makes 100K. So
And
it's
they
like,
don't
why?
tell people this type of stuff.
No.
You're not going to be told.
And
this
people
about
don't
this.
think about it because they just see the paycheck.
Absolutely. I heard a saying that's actually stuck with me the last few months, honestly. Ignorance isn't bliss, ignorance is poverty, you know? And it's like,
Shit, I like that.
damn, it's the truth. I was like, wow. Because you hear it so many times, oh, ignorance is bliss. If I don't know it, I don't see, out of sight, out of mind. Dude, ignorance is poverty, you know? So
Exactly. And that's it too, right? It's like people know their salary, but when they get the paycheck and they're only getting 6,000 from $100,000 salary,
something, yeah.
they don't even think about it.
Mm-mm.
They just think, can I pay my
This
mortgage?
is,
Can I pay my
yeah,
car
yeah.
note?
This is the way it works.
Can I buy
yeah.
groceries? And this is how it works. And it's like, dude, there are things that you can do. Even
Absolutely.
if you're W-2 and you're making good income, there are things that you can do.
I like that. That's
right?
strong.
Obviously,
Absolutely.
like I said, not as much as a business owner, but still.
Yeah.
Try. You have to try.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, don't just consider that money gone. Do something about it.
Absolutely. And preparation is key, like you said. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I guess with that, someone that's just starting out in LLC, I hear it all the time on Instagram and you know, they try to sell you the BS all the time that
you gotta change that out or
no, it's the background just stopped. I just don't know where the thing went. Sorry guys, real quick, we're gonna
No, you're good.
yeah.
it's
Little
a
intermission.
phone.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that phone. Damn it. I mean, he can handle that. But basically, what he's saying is the whole open up an LLC and the credit or what is it? The you know, taking out a business loan. Kind of like how true is that? You know?
How
like,
true
like,
is that?
Like, let me
you
open
can-
up an LLC and then take out a $70,000, $50,000 business loan and then utilize the whole Robert Kiyosaki. Let me use other people's money to you see what I'm saying? Which I do
follow
like
me
the
and
book.
buy my course, and I'll tell you more about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Right?
Can I tell you something? That is absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Thank you.
tell us,
Thank
tell
you,
us,
please.
yeah.
Because I almost did it, damn it.
Maybe there's something we don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say like we know everything, but so we are right now trying to buy other accounting firms. And, like, we're trying to bring them in, like as if you were to buy real estate.
It's a flex, yeah.
Nice.
And we're trying to apply to these loans. And we're accountants. We've been doing this for like 2 years now with this new business. And then it's like we have everything tracked, and we still, when we talk to these lenders, they're like, hey, here's this list of items you need to get this loan. And it's like, dude, we already showed you we make like good money, and we still need to provide you all this stuff. So
Yeah.
there is no way.
Because like you see on like TikTok the whole like, well, I just got out of prison and I just started up an LLC or like what have you,
With
like
a 520 credit score, no docs or no personal
yeah,
guarantee.
like the worst possible scenario, and like
But
you
you
can
could
do it too.
like pull out the G-Wagon and 50K and it's all yours and like
So interesting.
He does all the accounting, and he sees all the books of people like that, and that ain't like that.
Yeah, I mean we've seen a lot of like people who are seen as like, oh my god, like these are the guys when it comes to real estate, or the guys when it comes to a specific type of business. And then they're like, hey, we need help, and we're like, all right, cool, like we can help you. And then for one, they're like the shittiest clients that I've ever worked with because they don't know how to communicate.
Yeah.
And then two, they don't know how to like properly document things in general. And so they don't even know like what it is that I'm asking for. And it's like, these are the basic things that you should know how to do.
Literally, like,
lack of research, lack of knowledge, and lack of even caring to educate themselves with that knowledge.
And then I've come to realize that like these guys are at a loss.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And perhaps that's what they want, because it's like, oh, I don't want to pay taxes. And it's like, yeah, dude, but like
you want to be in the hole for like
we see that they're not paying a lot of their people.
Ooh.
And that a lot of people are just working under them literally just because they have so much credibility.
Wow.
And so it's kind of like, if there's a rat race with people working for these W-2 jobs, some people out there that are working under these businesses that people think are like the big shots.
Yeah.
They're not even getting paid. So what kind of rat race are they in?
Yeah, that's a death race, huh? That's like, geez, man.
It's honestly fucked up. Like,
so
taking more credit out just to survive.
So like you said, you have a few of those clients or what have you. How do you like dealing with them? Like you're saying, you know, their communication sucks. Like I'm sure you don't like seek those people out. Like let me go. No, you know. So it's like
no, we've actually fired clients. Like we
really,
clients. We don't.
That's badass.
Strong.
We don't like working with people who just don't take things seriously in general. And like I like to say this in general, like we're very nice people.
Yeah.
But like, if you try to like push us in any way or like even disrespect us in any way,
Absolutely.
we're not gonna hold back in it.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
And,
Works both ways, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like I show respect if you show respect.
Absolutely.
And honestly, like we were not like this at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But over the years, you start to notice how people treat you.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Your skin gets a bit tougher and stuff, huh? Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like also seeing that a lot of the clients that we do like working with, we have been doing all along. Like the habits that they have,
Mm-hmm.
we're like, okay, so we're on the right track.
That's beautiful.
Because we're in a very unique like position where we're getting to see how other people operate their business.
And you can emulate that to an extent, right?
Exactly.
Like that's so the proof is in the pudding, right? Like that's what I tell this guy all the time. It's like we instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, like because we we go through our own things. We're like, oh, maybe we should try this, maybe we should try this, maybe we should try this. It's like let's just find what works and emulate it to our own, like customize it to ourselves, right? Like obviously we're personable people. And I love doing this. I love sitting down with people like you guys because I feel like I'm gaining knowledge that I didn't even know I needed sometimes, and it's beautiful. But like instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, let's just figure out what works and double down on it. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, we still try a lot of random things.
Right, as you should. Yeah,
Nice.
but a foundation, right?
You gotta fail to learn. That's gonna be the best thing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Is there? I mean, these allegations of being able to pull out $50,000 once you start an LLC. There may be some sort of truth to it, right?
No,
How true is it? Yeah,
I honestly think that there is some honesty to it in the sense that like you can't take that money out.
Mm-hmm.
But the
what does it take?
So let's even like fathom the idea that you can't take out that money.
Okay, yeah.
The 50,000. Like let's say it doesn't matter what your situation is, but you got that 50,000 in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Odds are, if you're just starting off and you don't even have a proper business plan,
yeah,
no matter how much money you take out,
you're gonna lose it.
You're kind of
yeah. That's so true too, though. That's so true, bro.
Like you're not.
Yeah. Now what? Like, oh, I got this part. Like, now what? Yeah.
Exactly. And it's kind of like because I mean, we've raised like $200,000 in funds to go into a flip, and like that's a proper way of going into it.
Yeah.
And
through investors, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Private
Yeah.
money lenders, things like that.
Strong.
So obviously that's why network is so important. But
so important.
If we didn't go in with the same like level of like determination of being able to complete a flip, we would never have been able to pay those people back with interest.
Absolutely.
And then also keep some money for ourselves to be able to pay our own bills.
Absolutely.
And
taking that scary risk.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like a lot of people, again, it's the whole discipline thing.
Absolutely.
Like, if you end up getting $200,000, it's kind of like, oh shit,
like we got it. Like, oh shit, yeah. A lot of discipline, bro.
Another like, and calling people out here is that like in real estate, a lot of people like to show big checks.
Yeah,
they're like, look, I got a $218,000 check.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, all right, dude, but how much of that is going into your pocket?
Yes,
because 200 of that might be just you paying back your investors.
Yes, bro.
And then like 16K can just be you paying back like random
your debts, your personal debts,
and it's
net revenue.
And it's kind of like, what's the like? Why are you showing off 200K? Like, what's your real motivation?
Yeah, absolutely.
They end the video with buy my course, and it's like
every time
join my mastermind, do this, and it's kind of like
every time
you now start to see like what game they're actually playing, and then what they're trying to present instead.
Yeah,
and obviously it's the whole like it's part of the game because like you have to build some sort of image in the first place,
right?
But we've just noticed that there's a lot of people who do these things that just don't have a good morale per se.
Yeah,
I think something important is like you see a lot of people. So in tech, like man, so many people are like, I'm gonna fake it till I make it. Like you see tech companies, like, I'm gonna get the big office, I'm gonna get all these employees, and then like, an investor will be like, oh, like I'm gonna put my money here.
Yeah,
and that does not work at all.
Yeah,
because,
the fundamentals aren't there, right? Yeah,
and that's another reason why I got into accounting. But like, the thing is, a lot of these people who want to get these loans, I'm like, look, if you're like, hey, I really deserve this loan because I'm just such a badass and my idea is so amazing. Well, why can't your idea just make money without the loan?
Fire. That's so
like,
true.
It's like, and this is even in tech. It's like the investors used to come to us and be like, if you're so fucking good and you're the next like Uber, then why can't you build an MVP and get users on it
Right.
and pay you some money.
Mm-hmm.
Once you got that, I'll put money in because it's a legitimate business idea.
Right.
And that's why we know that like these people who go online and they're like, yeah, you could just get a loan as soon as you open up a business. They're fucking lying because
Yeah.
it's like the bank. What like you always want to think. This is what I've learned like in the last 2 years. It's like
Mm-hmm.
what is the focus of the person you're working with. So like if you go to a bank and you're going to work with them,
Mm-hmm.
they're focused on managing risk. So it's like why would they put their money 50, 60, 100,000 into a business where it's like you don't have any financial statements because you haven't made any money and you don't have any clients.
And you just opened an LLC. Like they're like, you see,
Yeah.
I totally get that. Absolutely. Now, if it gets a little bit too personal, you don't have to. But what did you guys do maybe to gain that trust from people? You know,
Oh man.
Oh my god.
like how because I'm sure it's very hard to get that trust from an investor who like they're like I want to, but like you said, how come you guys can't fucking make it happen like without my money? You know, like
Right.
how do you cross that line?
To add to that, I've only gone so far with it all because I mean I opened my LLC with you and I have one before that, but I've heard about building business credit. Is that even like that's like a first step only? I'm sure, right? Or is there more to it?
Well, you build business credit, that is possible. It's similar to having like personal credit,
Mm-hmm.
but like I really think that too many people get focused like solely on those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, having it's kind of like when people start a business and they're like, I need to get business cards. Like, no, bro, you need to go get sales.
You need to
Deals,
income
money.
producing activities, right?
Fuck the business cards,
Yeah, yeah.
the websites, all that stuff. Like, if the person who you're working or you want to work with, you shake their hands and you're like, hey, like I can provide you this service or product, and they're like, no, like I want to see your website. All right, well, you're not in that stage to be able to service this person. Maybe you're not connecting.
Mm-hmm.
But a no now doesn't mean no forever.
Right.
So it's like, that's what Jeff was saying. It's like, we dealt with so many assholes, but I think the thing that I'm proudest of is like we stuck to ourselves, like we're true selves.
Stay true to yourself.
Yeah, we kept our values at the top. That's a priority, and
Feels good to do that, right? I'm sure. Yeah.
Absolutely,
It's awesome, man.
After a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty shitty. Like there's a phase where it's like no one wants to buy from you.
Yeah.
And then you see all these other people where it's like they don't even know what they're doing, but they have these big loans.
The smoke and mirrors, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And then they're like, oh, well, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you driving with a G-Wagon as well?
Yeah, yeah.
They're broke as shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm broke as shit.
Yeah.
But this guy has a G-Wagon, and everyone wants to buy from this guy. No one wants
because
to
he
buy
has the
from
damn
me.
G-Wagon. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
So how do you navigate through that? Like going back to my question, like how do you, secure those deals? Time. Relationships, would you say it's a relationship based
Absolutely.
thing too as well?
Networking.
Consistency.
Just like any other business, I imagine, is just putting in the work, right? And
Yeah.
staying consistent and doing the work and getting the deals, right?
Mhm.
Instead of building the websites and trying to
making the business cards and doing all
Yeah.
that shit, huh? Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, the clients that we have now, like, a lot of them said no for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just that we were persistent. We're like, look, I'm gonna keep showing up. I'm gonna keep putting in this work, and I'm gonna keep creating content to show you I'm putting in the work.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Eventually, like, damn, I'm tired of seeing this guy. That's so badass.
We've heard that so many times, and then they're like, fuck it, I'll give you a fucking chance.
Yeah.
And then they give us a chance, and we're like, because you're like, wow, this is my first time really doing this. You're like, I treasure this person. Like, I'm gonna show them the best that I got.
You're gonna go all out and above. Even I see exactly what you're saying there. That's beautiful.
And you guys can already see it too, because like, how long have you had this podcast so far?
Since January, well, like, I want since December, but realistically, like taking it seriously since like March. Yeah.
I mean, that's still a good amount of time.
Right. Yeah.
Like what, 2 months now?
Yeah, 2 or 3 months of taking it seriously, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys can already see an uptick.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
our driving factor, seeing the little, like, our thing is 1% better each day, and it's starting to compound, man. It's starting to compound for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I would say, even if it takes a long time, just keep fucking going.
Yeah.
Because like,
hell yeah,
Jeff. I love you, Jeff. No, that's fire. Just keep fucking going, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, seriously, because it's for us, like, we don't have a lot of followers, but like we noticed that whenever there is just a few extra views, a few extra messages, a few extra phone calls,
feels good, huh?
It feels good.
Feels really good.
Like when we got our first Google lead, we lost our shit.
Yeah. Popping bottles on. That's badass, bro.
Because we're like, dude, like it's working.
It's working, man.
And like now we have a lot of Google reviews.
Nice.
And
like, to see it come to fruition. Wow, it's beautiful.
People are literally telling us like, yeah, we came into the office today because you guys are the top rated
Let's go.
in Riverside right now.
That's
and it's
awesome,
kind of
dude.
like, well, dude,
Sorry. Well,
Yeah, I know that. No, yeah.
Did you see the
I love the
review?
excitement. Yeah.
no, because we did a magazine cover,
Mhm.
and I'm sure you guys have seen this on the Instagram. And on the magazine cover, it says #1 Riverside tax and accounting firm. This was way before all the reviews.
Yep.
And
Let's
literally
go.
put it out there, and then like he said, that's when we had like one review.
Nice.
And
Wow.
we were like, we're gonna fucking make this happen.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, we're the #1 Riverside. Like it's in the websites. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're not our websites, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't
no
manipulated.
hate.
Yeah, no, absolutely, bro.
That's good. That's very good. And dude, that makes me very much more happy and grateful for you guys to be here.
Absolutely,
that's
man.
huge. And I mean, I can tell by the content. Honestly, the content is on point. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's really
And
good.
that's why I was like, dude, like this guy's like, dude, he has to be on the show.
I do want to clarify though, like it's not just me. Like I think a lot of people see that like with content and
Oh yeah, I mean,
But that's the first thing that everyone thinks is like, damn, this guy's doing something good. But like, if you don't mind, go into your
Yeah.
team, man, and how you have invested or whatnot into this
Yeah.
social media.
this is such an important part because I feel like everyone wants to be like #1.
Mhm.
And it's like, dude, you're never gonna get anywhere by yourself. And it's like you have to do it as a team. Like when Jeff and I started, I mean it was just us two.
Mm-hmm.
But we bounce ideas every day. Like we were sitting at home working together, but like we were building synergy.
Yes.
And then we had my girlfriend join and start editing videos.
Let's go.
She's the one editing the ones right now.
fire.
She quit her job, started doing that. Then we started doing this full time.
Yeah.
And Alex comes into the picture.
Yeah.
And
Adds more
Alex-
value. Yeah.
Yeah, and then his clients are coming in and referring more people. And then now we hired one today, and then there's like 3 other bookkeepers. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
it just grows and grows, and it's like I do play a part in marketing,
Mhm.
but I always tell everyone, I'm like, look, like all the knowledge, all the stuff we're doing, like that's the rest of the team too.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Absolutely.
all putting in the work together.
Yes.
Like the services need the marketing needs the services.
They all
fulfillment, everything.
Everything plays its own role and its own part to delegate a higher, outcome. And we have a saying actually that if you can achieve your dreams by yourself, you're just not dreaming big enough. That's
guys-
Oh shit!
If you guys
Damn.
watching
Damn,
the
we
show,
all
you're
dropping
sticking
gems
with
today.
this.
we're
Let's
dropping
go.
gems. Let's go, GemTA.
Don't even go into that.
Yeah, let's not even get into
I
that
told
shit.
you, bro. He was like GemTA. What's that? I was like, well, it's Gem Tax and Accounting. And
Yeah.
then he's like Gems. He's like Gem. What? He's like confused still. I was like Gems, bro.
Yeah, like dropping gems.
Hell
Yeah. It makes sense now. Now that I get to sit down with these gentlemen. Yeah, absolutely. Are we allowed to turn the air on? Because it's like getting.
Oh,
It's
thank
on.
you. It's on, my boy.
Oh, is it on? Damn,
Yeah, I
wow.
got you.
I feel it.
Yeah, damn, man. But yeah, we'll keep going while Mike handles that air. But so now, for someone looking to start building, actually, we just answered that one. Is it better to be a team of accountants than to be a solo tax accountant? How do you guys like? Obviously, I'm sure.
How's
Or-
it benefited you guys to be a team?
Shit, I think I could probably speak to this the most. I was solo.
Yeah, absolutely,
I was,
man. Yeah.
I was solo dolo for like 4 years.
Yeah.
So
And I'm sure, have you accomplished even more in the short time you've known these gentlemen
dude,
compared to?
infinitely more. It's
Let's
not even
go.
close. So I think the biggest thing was like, I mean, I always knew that I wasn't a #1. Like
Mhm.
I could have always admitted that to myself because
You were humble
everybody
about it.
wants to be like the CEO. They want to be the face of the company, all that stuff. I always knew that I wasn't a #1.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I
was
feel
like,
I feel like that's everyone's or some people's downfall. Sorry to cut you off, but
Mhm.
everyone wanting to be #1. Like if you can know your role and like add to a team, bro. Imagine instead of you being #1, who wants to be at the top by themselves? Play your role and get your team to #1. You see, like
exactly.
And it's like, what about like Apple? Like Apple's number 2, 3, 4, 5. Like all those people.
Yeah,
are
dude.
Fucking like,
yeah,
above everyone else.
surpassing all the people trying to be #1.
Yeah,
but
exactly. So that was it for me. I knew that in terms of like the servicing, I knew that I
Mhm.
could get that down.
I love that,
the
bro.
tax
Yeah,
stuff and I knew that the sales aspect was the side that I was like, fuck, this is hard.
yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Wasn't your strongest
It
suit,
wasn't my
right?
strongest suit, and
Mhm.
so it made sense to work with them. And obviously, they were already offering an ancillary service, right? They were offering
Mhm.
a complimentary service essentially, right?
Yep.
It's like accounting, tax, like
Mhm.
they go together.
Absolutely.
So it was one of those things that like when we partnered, and it's something that like me and him even discuss now a lot. Like when I'll be talking to a client and maybe they fit the criteria for tax planning.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not the sales guy,
Mm-hmm.
but I know the pain points in terms of the tax.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'll go in and they feel the pain of the tax, and I tell them there's another service that we provide,
Mm-hmm.
and basically warm them up, right? And it's one of those things that like I'll hand it off to Chris. I'll be like, hey, look, they're already warm.
Yeah, I got him going, huh?
It's like hit
Yeah.
them on the head with a hammer.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Because for the same reason, like I don't know how to close,
Yep.
right? So, and we've developed that synergy amongst ourselves. Like,
Absolutely. Everyone plays their part, man.
exactly. Like it's not just like, oh, I run this department or I run this department, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
like, for him, it's like, he does, the marketing and sales and is kind of the head and kind of, leads the company and stuff, but he's very good at being like, you're the tax person.
Yes.
So if like I need to sell somebody, like I need you in the meeting,
Yes.
or I need you to provide that support, right? Or
Absolutely.
even with Jeff, and he'll do the accounting or bookkeeping side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing. It's like, hey, look, they pitch it to whoever needs to actually do it, and they hit them on the head with the hammer, right?
Everybody, it's a team effort,
Delegation,
huh?
delegation.
And he sells
team.
them, and he's not thinking like, oh shit, I can't fulfill this.
Yeah, they're already
It's-
warm.
it's-
They're already warmed up,
exactly.
baby.
It's like I've already sold them, but I'm not going to be the one providing service.
Uh-huh.
And it's the same thing. Like
It's almost like
they're
having a
already sold.
closer.
Exactly. And now Alex is going to hit them on the head with a hammer,
That's
right?
savage.
For the work, or Jeff, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, and we've built this like synergy where it just flows together.
Yeah.
Where like, our skill sets complement each other.
Beautiful.
Not only for the business, but even in terms of like just skill sets for the business itself, like to
Yeah.
grow the business, things like that. So
Mhm.
it's really nice when it comes together.
Absolutely,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And when everyone can know their part, almost, instead of everyone trying to be the top dog, the top. Because I feel like that happens in a lot of maybe bigger companies, right? Like, it's easy for Mike and I to be like, okay, like Jake, you're good at the camera angles, and Mike, you're good at the talking. Let's double down on our strong points, right?
Yeah.
But when you're around, maybe say in a car salesman environment or something like that, everybody wants to be the top dog. So it's very cutthroat. It's very I never really got that. I was like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
fine being like the number 2. Like, as long as that means we get to go to like places that I've never been before, let's go. Like, I'll
Exactly.
play my part. Absolutely.
I think it takes a lot of humility to do
It does, man. It does. It does. Absolutely.
I don't know if you guys like. I just want to quickly define what humility is in the first place.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Actually,
Please do.
can I get like what your understanding of humility is in the first place?
I would say kind of not try, like, basically going back to what I was describing, not trying to be the top dog, but knowing your place, knowing what your strong suits are, knowing your weaknesses, and being vulnerable in a sense to be like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pretend to be like I'm something I'm not in that aspect. What'd you say, Mike?
Yeah, definitely admitting where you are. Your humility is going to be your ego, the death of your ego. You're not going to have ego. You're going to be able to admit that your ego is something that
We'll kill you, huh?
yeah,
It'll
get
drown
the best
you.
of you, and you'd rather just admit that I can be wrong. I'm wrong
Mhm.
there. I was actually thinking about this just literally a couple minutes ago. I actually kind of thought of a friend that I had, and I kind of play roughhoused with him a little bit. And he kind of got mad, and like most people would be like, "Well, what's up then? Like let's fight." But like, I'm like, dude, actually, that was wrong of me, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that, and I kept my my tone about it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's my example of that. Like
Yeah.
admitting when
Yeah.
you're wrong.
How
admitting
close
when
are
you're
we?
wrong.
It's not even that I want to correct you guys
Mhm,
or anything
yeah.
like that. It's mainly that I've found that so I'm Catholic,
Okay.
and Catholicism is literally primarily surrounding around humility.
Okay.
And so like when I first thought of this, I was like, oh, humility is being humble.
Mhm.
And it's like, but I realized that those two are two very different things.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so yeah, like you guys are 100% correct. In the
Oh,
sense that,
nice.
like, you got to know your place, essentially. The Catholic Church essentially taught me that there's a second piece to that, and it's that humility is practicing knowing where you are,
Mhm.
so that you know how to get to where you want to be.
Ooh.
And so it's like if
Gem.
you're standing in this room and you're standing in this seat here, and you want to go down the stairs,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go that way.
Yeah.
But first I
Your
need to
plan of
know-
action, your direction.
Exactly, because like even if I'm standing
Wow.
here, but I'm facing this way, I'm like, I'm not gonna get to the stairs.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter how hard you try to get through that wall, you're not gonna
Exactly.
get down there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so
It's pretty savage, actually. That's
Yeah.
It's a very good definition, actually.
and yeah, we try to do that a lot in the
Mhm.
company, where like we know where our place is.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is the sales guy.
Mm-hmm.
Alex is the tax guy. I'm the accounting guy. Alina is like the editor, and then we have a bookkeeper. Like everyone is playing a role.
Yep.
And whenever we do need someone to come in, especially like whenever it's like on the business type of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
we have to bring in all of us.
Absolutely.
And
Michael Jordan couldn't have won all those rings without,
That's-
Pippen, all the extra support from his team. Even though you think of Chicago Bulls, you instantly think of Michael Jordan, but it's like, think
Right.
about it. He couldn't have gotten there without
Yeah,
his
the
team,
dream-
man.
yeah.
The dream team. Yeah, you don't make it to the Super Bowl, you don't make it to the World Series, whatever have
Yeah.
you, without your team. So
You
that's
guys
beautiful.
You guys watch One Piece?
I've seen it. I'm not the hugest or the most huge anime fan. I don't know. I've just never really gotten
Oh,
into
okay.
it. But yeah, I should, huh? I've been hearing a lot about
You
it.
should
One
definitely
Piece.
One Piece. That's
Yeah.
the only. Yeah.
It's a very long show. But
Yeah,
I
those
hear
those
it's
are my
pretty good.
favorites. Like with lots of like complexity and whatnot, right?
Yeah,
To it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are actually my favorite type of shows to watch. I should actually. I found myself getting away from like TV. I don't know. Like I lived in Arizona for the last couple years and whatnot, and I didn't even have like Netflix really. I funny enough, I would just watch podcasts and like YouTube and like and like so it was just pretty funny. That
You're one of those conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, not too much, but
So I guess we've kind of touched on a lot of topics and a lot of good advice. But if you guys could give advice to a young entrepreneur or even someone that's starting off in accounting or struggling in accounting, what could that piece of advice be?
big man right here.
Probably because I'm the oldest. That's why.
Well, with age comes,
40-something.
Damn.
Oh,
I look 40, but
No.
Nah, bro.
Jeez,
You actually
dude.
don't.
You guys all look like
You're
you're about our
not
age.
40.
Yeah.
30, right?
33.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not old, but
Yeah.
this guy.
You're
Yeah.
in Jesus here.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
go.
for real. Damn. Advice, man. I
Mhm.
would say that, I didn't honestly, I think and I'll say it from a different perspective as I was in it for so long. I didn't realize how much the corporate experience would actually be valuable to me.
Mm.
And I say that because like they were I worked a job for a long time,
Mhm.
right? And in that time I was promoted 3 times. So, 2 more promotions I could have been like a VP,
Yeah.
of a big bank or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's
Which
like-
that does speak volumes, for
Yeah.
your confidence and everything, all
It
the
does.
tools that you can build through
does.
that road.
Yeah, but I think for me the biggest piece was like learning how it all works.
Yes, bro.
And I've noticed that
Facts.
a lot with them too, right? Because they didn't spend as much time in it, and Chris obviously was a lot more entrepreneur from the beginning. So
Mhm.
like saying things that to me were like second nature, is just what I was exposed to.
Yes.
And then and they're kind of like they're questioning it, thinking about it, and they're like, oh, this is how this can work in the business.
Yes.
And I didn't realize like how valuable all that stuff would be. I was like,
That's
who gives a
fire.
crap?
Yeah.
Because I was there playing a part,
Yeah.
learning the politics, doing
Seeing
all
it every
that.
day.
Exactly. And
Seeing how
then-
much they were billing for you too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
Yeah.
got me in construction. I was like, they're billing them for $120 an hour and I'm getting paid $20 an hour? What the hell?
Yeah, so it's one of those things I was like moving from that to like entrepreneurship. I was like, holy shit. I
Yeah,
didn't
bro.
realize how valuable that would be because and I love that they're able to take it and not just think about, oh, this is just his experience, but rather like, how can this apply to the business?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've loved how they've taken something, they've opened it up and be
Yes.
like, this is valuable.
Yes.
Like we could use this.
Because if it works, it works,
Exactly.
Mhm.
Right. And it's not only that, but it's like, we're not trying to have 2 or 3 employees. We're trying to be a corporate.
Yeah, the next
Right?
Apple, right?
Exactly. Like, well, no, I mean, our dreams are big. So
yeah,
it's like,
absolutely, bro.
Let's go.
that's big. I think it really has to fit your personality. I think there's so much crap out there about like you have to be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
You can't work for the man, and that's bullshit, dude. There's companies out there that treat their people great, pay
There's-
them well.
Yeah.
And it's like and I know we talked about this, we touched on it earlier about like, you get stuck in the rat race, you have all these bills, but I also think that that's a personal responsibility.
That is
Absolutely.
absolutely,
Like, if
bro.
you make all this money and you decide that you want $1,000 car note, $3,000 a month house, like that's on you.
Yeah.
So like if you stick yourself to a 30-year mortgage that's too high to pay where you can't quit your job, that's
Mhm.
on you.
It's on you, man. Yeah.
Right? But it's also-
responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like those people, you can still be an entrepreneur. Like
Mhm.
you can still work your ass off for a company that's like for you,
Yes.
company that values you and respects you and pays you well, right?
And
to
it'd
do
be
your
very
job.
rewarding as well.
And it could be very rewarding. So I definitely want to get people out of that mindset of like I
That's
gotta be an
strong.
entrepreneur because
Yeah.
it's really not for everybody.
It's
No.
that's and that's something we should actually start touching on a little bit more. Is it's really not for everybody.
It's been
you know?
clicking. It's been clicking in this whole conversation for sure.
Yeah, because it's like, and again, I worked corporate and I worked a good job for such a
Mhm.
long time that I probably have the most insight on
Yeah.
this. But it's like you don't have to worry about where your next meal is going to come from when you work a job.
Yeah.
Even if you
Your 40
lose it,
hours, yeah.
even if you lose it, like there's things that are awarded to you, right? Severance, you go unemployment, things like where it's a
Safety
business
nets,
owner,
yeah.
right? You get
You're all or
if
all or
if
nothing.
all your clients are gone next day, there's no more money.
You
Yeah.
always got to be chasing that next meal.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that stress isn't for everybody.
I think it is. It's very much so glorified on so much nowadays on TikTok and Instagram that like the whole, be an entrepreneur, work from your laptop on the beach. Like everybody wants that, right? At the end of the day. But like 9 times out of 10, I don't know. I watch this other podcast where a lot of the times these people be on them be like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. The dude would be like, spell entrepreneur. And they'd be like, it just goes to show that like a lot of people aren't as knowledgeable about some things as you may think, and it's just everybody wants it, but who's really willing to put in the work and
Most
whatnot.
entrepreneurs or the guys that are running the businesses, are probably at their desk running, running their business.
Yeah.
Actually making it happen from the corporation, not from the beach.
Far and few between that are able
Yeah.
to be that blessed to do something like that, right?
Yeah, but also, on the flip side of the coin, if you want to be an entrepreneur, or just have a business in general,
Mhm.
it's you really got to grind it out.
Grind it out.
Learn from
As
your
anything,
mistakes.
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking grind. You have to be patient. It doesn't come overnight.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
The 40-hour weeks are almost non-existent, right? It's almost
Oh, gosh.
double that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you're working
Yeah.
more for sure.
Exactly. I mean, I owned the texting for 4 years already when I
Mhm.
started with these guys.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even really covering the bills that the business would take on
Wow.
in that time.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not all glamour, but
Absolutely.
if you bust your ass, dude, it's there.
Yeah.
Like, and I love the unlimited potential about it. That, because like I said, I never felt like I fit in a box.
Yeah. You can never see that cap out rate and be comfortable with it. And that's the beauty, I think, is if you're willing to put in the work and if you have that drive deep inside of you that like, I know I can do this. I'm meant for more. I'm built for more. Then it can really be a beautiful thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. And, they always say like, get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's like,
Let's go.
Yeah.
If it ain't hard, I don't want it.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. That's what they all say.
That's another gem for you guys if you didn't know.
Yeah.
But dude, it's the thing is with entrepreneurship, dude, 50% of what you're doing is shit you don't want to do.
Yep. Oh, straight up.
man.
Straight up,
Yeah.
huh?
But if you're passionate enough about it, it doesn't even feel like work sometimes. Or it could feel like work. You're like, dang, you're pulling your hair out about it, but you're like, I'm so excited to see the end result. I'm okay with the work that it's costing me. Now, even if it costs me.
That's the flame.
That's the flame.
Mhm.
Like, your flame is just pushing through all of the things you don't want to do.
Yep.
12 a.m. to 12 p.m. Or, 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. Just,
damn near, dude.
Let me tell
sometimes.
you, the amount of hours, that's probably the easy part.
Literally.
It's literally the task that you do not want to do.
Yeah.
That is hard.
And the mental fatigue of,
Exactly. It's
pushing through it, the
it's
fire,
like somebody, It's like somebody going to the gym, like that's overweight. Like for them, it's like it's hard to go to the gym. It's hard to sweat. It's hard to breathe hard.
Yes.
But it's like the real work is the food.
Uh-huh.
Right? And they're just
90%, yeah.
They're like, dude, fuck that. I don't want to eat right.
Yeah.
That is entrepreneurship at its finest.
Wow, that was
there.
beautifully said, bro. Yeah.
It's like that shit you don't want to do.
Yeah.
That you're just like, nope, no thanks. And you think you're just gonna make enough money to hire.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen because even when you start hiring, there's gonna be other shit you have to do.
Yeah.
That you're like, fuck.
It never stops breaking.
It never.
Oh gosh, yeah. Never stop.
Yeah,
I
so
bet.
consistently doing stuff you don't want to do at all.
Yep.
And doing it like you love it, right?
Yeah,
So-
with a smile on your face, huh? Like, I can't
The
wait.
end result is worth it. I promise you. The end result is worth
For
it.
sure.
How big would you say it is to maybe create a plan for like the young man or the young woman watching this that is like, you know what, I have that in me, I want to do something? How important would you say, Jeff, is like to create a plan, a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan, and be like, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice a lot of clubbing, movie dates, Tinder dates, whatever have you, that takes away from your mental focus to like,
Good
how
one.
important would you say that is, kind of,
I personally think it's extremely important.
100%, right? Yeah.
Mainly because like well, the Hermosis. I don't know if you guys know.
Don't even get us started, bro. I love them.
The
Yeah.
Hermosis are like their season of
King
No
and Queen
is
right there, huh?
amazing.
I
Yeah.
love them, man. Absolutely. I actually turned him on to Alex Hermosi. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, honestly, both of them, Layla and Alex, they're amazing.
Yeah.
I personally like Layla's content a lot more.
Really? I'll have to
But,
check it out for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. She's a very smart woman.
Oh
Absolutely.
my gosh,
Yeah.
no. Well, I think I like her content more because she focuses in on a lot of operation stuff.
Okay.
That's what I like to focus in on.
Okay.
And
You relate to her content. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool, man.
And but yeah, I think it's super important, and that's
Mhm.
actually like when you're in that season of no, that's what people talk about when you start to lose friends, you start to lose a
Mhm.
lot of like relationships that you used to
Yeah.
like really cherish. Like we've gone through a lot of different relationships, new and old.
Mhm.
That like I don't even talk to these people anymore, literally just because they're like, oh, it's almost like entrepreneurs. They're not sellouts. They're kind of like, oh, you're greedy. But like for artists, they're sellouts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
So like a lot of people that I used to grow up with, they're very like woke per se.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, why do you want to go work that much? Or why, like, all you do is work? Like, you don't
Yeah.
want to go grab a beer or, like, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And then
enjoy your life or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, I'm going to enjoy my life. Trust me.
and the tables are gonna turn eventually.
Uh-huh.
And
And who's to say it's not, you know, it's not even fair to say, like, I am enjoying my life still, you know? I
Yeah.
still am enjoying my life,
exactly.
you know?
That's the flame.
That's the flame, brother,
that
yeah.
that I refer to, where it's like you're constantly doing something, even though it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no one else is doing this, and like,
Oh, dude, that'll light a fire.
Success
Yeah.
takes sacrifice.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's you said it twice, so I definitely want to touch on what you said. You
Yes,
just
yes,
say
sir.
sacrifice. I think you have to shift that mindset.
Oh, let's
Because
go.
a lot of people are thinking like when I hear the word sacrifice, I think like, man, I have to give up something that I love for
Mhm.
something that is. It's almost like you're just losing, right? Like the word sacrifice is more like you're just losing something.
That's fair to say. Absolutely.
So, I definitely want to shift your guys'
Perception,
mindset too.
huh?
Like,
Yeah.
look, it's not a sacrifice, it's an investment.
Yeah.
It's an investment in
So
yourself.
true, bro.
Right. So when you're
So
giving you're
true.
giving up, like you said, you're trying to give up drinking, you're trying
Yeah.
to give up cigarettes or whatever the case. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to give up those friends. Like it's not a sacrifice. Like you're investing in yourself and you're investing in your health,
It's an
in your
opportunity,
body,
huh?
right?
Yeah.
Shifting that mindset is so key.
That's so fire, bro.
Yeah,
That's
because
so fire.
if not, you're always gonna sacrifice, and
You're gonna look at it as a loss. You're gonna be like, oh, I have to go. I
Every
have
time-
to.
Scarcity mindset.
That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
fucking fire, dude.
every time you give something up, you're gonna feel like you lost,
Yeah.
and then it becomes I feel like people can end up like just getting depressed. Like,
Yeah.
is this even worth it? Because I have to
sacrifice,
my family,
yeah.
my friends. But it's like, no, you're
Investing.
investing in yourself.
That's so good, man.
So
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That was a gem, man. That was a
Even
gem right there.
Right now, like we're trying to buy the firms, and
Mhm.
so I had a Tesla. He has a really nice truck,
Mhm.
and well, he got another car.
Yeah.
But basically we've all made sacrifices, and it's getting to a point where we're like, we've worked so fucking hard, we're seeing success in the business, and then we have to cut out all these things because we're like, unless we cut this out, we're not gonna get to the next level.
Yeah.
And we fucking honestly, he taught me a lot.
Yeah.
Because when he was watching a lot of Graham Stephan, and
Yeah.
me, Kevin, like, you know, Graham Stephan, he's like, hey, you want to really like budget and do all those things.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
super
So-
tight
yeah.
about his money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he came from like a physics background. So he's building calculators, and he's like, I actually see the numbers behind all this. And then I was like, okay, cool. And like for us, you know, like, I mean, he talks about his truck all the time. My Tesla, like, it was hard to get rid of because, I mean, it's a nice car and all that. But I was like, you know, I was like, I'm investing in myself by getting rid of this car because
Yes.
I'm now opening up bandwidth, like even mental bandwidth, because now I'm not stressed about this fucking car payment.
Dude,
Mhm.
and
thank you.
yeah, dude, and
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy
same.
because it's like as soon as we
Been there.
Yeah,
Fucking Mike.
the freaking Tesla, like we're getting rid of like our expenses here and there, and we're getting lean so we can go acquire this firm. Like a week later, like we now get like we got funding.
Yeah.
And it's because he took some of his personal investments and put that in as collateral. And then
Nice.
it's like now the firm is approaching us and they're like, hey, yeah, we're interested in selling to you.
Yeah.
And we're like, holy fuck, all you have to do is just give up these couple of things. No, not give up, like literally invest in
Invest.
ourselves.
Yep.
And then
Mhm.
boom, like everything just turned. And
Yeah.
it's like that's all we
Yeah.
have to do.
Now, how do you change that mindset from the scarcity mindset or the sacrifice, I mean to say, of like, damn, because like I don't want to give up my Tesla. It's, you know, like, damn,
Yeah.
like I like it or
Yeah.
whatever. How do you change that mindset to almost be like, no, I'm looking forward to this so I can have the investments? Like, do you have to just like Like, does it have to click like that, or like, is that something you can kind of train? Like, I'm asking this for myself because, like,
Yeah.
you know,
I can give a quick answer.
Mhm.
It's very tactical, but I think it relates.
yeah, yes,
I think if you sell something like, let's say, $100,
mm-hmm,
learn how to pay yourself,
mm-hmm,
because you're gonna finally get a little taste of what it feels like to even sell something.
got you,
Because that idea of like, oh, I sold this for $100 and I'm gonna pay myself $25,
mm-hmm,
and then $75 is to pay for the things that I had to use to sell
the
this product.
resources or
Exactly.
uh-huh,
And it's I kind of like, wait, if I do this 2 more times, I have $75.
yeah,
If I do this 10 times, I'm gonna have $250.
mm-hmm,
And then you
exactly,
start to like realize like, wait, that is actually not that hard to do.
uh-huh,
And then you start to realize, wait, I can just change these little habits here and there, and I can start exploding that.
that's fire, dude,
And
yeah,
it's like that's very tactical, but
Mhm.
I think you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have more. I don't know if philosophical is the right word, but I don't know if you guys have seen. I'm a Christian as well.
okay,
Just to kind of put that out there. I don't know if you've ever seen that. There's like, it's not a meme, but it's like a picture where there's a little girl holding a teddy bear,
mm-hmm.
and she doesn't want to give it up. And in front of her is Jesus with
Yes,
a
I
huge
have-
bear behind his back.
I have seen that, yeah,
Where he's basically the point is like, believe me, trust in me, and I'm going to give you
10
10
times,
times right what
Mhm.
you're giving up. And so like it's funny he brings up the cars. It's like that's a big deal for me. I'm a
Absolutely.
big car guy, and like so when I bought this truck, it was something that was like I am now successful,
near and dear to your heart in a
and
sense.
yeah, so it was like I'm not a materialistic person,
Mhm.
so that helps. I'm not gonna lie. It
Yeah.
helps to not
Be attached
be like
to
that,
your
be attached to it.
uh-huh,
But it was one of those things I was like, wow, like
milestone.
I've achieved so much at this point. Like
Mhm.
it was something that I did for myself.
Milestones, yeah.
And this was before I met the guys, and
Mhm.
and I remember when I was already contemplating it. I was like, maybe I should, maybe I want to.
Mhm.
I'm like, but it's hard because I'm thinking about other things that I have to move around in my life to make it work.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm gonna go let it go, it's like, well, this truck is brand new, it's under warranty.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things that's like, I still need something reliable.
Yeah.
I have to buy it cheap enough. Right?
Yeah.
Interest rates are way higher than when I bought it. Things like that.
Yeah.
So I have to look at all the numbers, and everything has to make sense. And I'm trying to not buy a vehicle in this case that's gonna run me into the ground. Where I
Right.
just
Not
have
beater or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was one of those things. I was like, that was my mindset. And I remember telling him about it. He was actually surprised.
Mm-hmm. Really?
He's
Yeah.
like, my life is a little bit more established. I'm a little bit older. I own a home
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So like, I don't have as much flexibility, right, in the things that I can do. But I was like,
showed your dedication though
exactly.
to
And
it.
I remember telling him the day I was like, hey, look, the truck's online, it's for sale, and like he didn't really believe.
He's
it.
like, no shit.
He's like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
He's like, you love that thing, and it's funny because they step in it and they feel some type of way getting in it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely,
I think for them,
bro.
they're like, I can imagine how it feels for you.
Absolutely,
to
bro.
like give this up. But for
What
me,
truck was it, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a Toyota Tundra. It's an Army green one that's outside.
Nice.
Yeah, not a big deal to a lot of people, but
I like my Tacoma. I
Hey,
just paid off my Tacoma.
that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I love my
So-
Tacoma, bro.
it's a nice truck.
I sold Toyotas too. Don't worry.
Yeah. He's like, I know the Tundras.
Oh,
The Army green color though is sick, bro.
Yeah.
Like that.
So it's a nice truck. It really is. It gets complimented everywhere I go. It doesn't matter what city I touch. I mean, I go to Laguna Beach, it gets complimented by
Hell
people. So
yeah.
it's definitely it's good on the eyes. Like I get a lot of looks. So
Mhm.
but yeah, it's just one of those things. I was like, no, look, like I'm dedicated to the business. I'm trying
Yes,
to
sir.
cut down for the same reason. It's like we have to, for the loan, we have to provide some kind of collateral, things like that.
Yeah, bro.
And so there's just certain stipulations to the loan. And my thing is like, the less bills I have, the less pressure. Right. So I was
Keep
like,
your
it's gotta
expenses
go.
low. Yeah.
Like it's running me $2,000 a month just to drive it.
Yeah.
Like gas, insurance, and
Oh, everything,
payment.
yeah.
So it's one of those things I was like, man, this will not only alleviate the burden, but this helps push the business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I say about the sacrifice piece, because he was like, man, that's fucking huge. Like, I can't believe you're doing that. And for me, it was just like, nah, dude, like I'm not
You're happy to do it.
like, yeah, I'm investing in the team.
Happy.
It's not only in me. It's like it's gotta
Yeah.
go.
Most people will go to the casino, bet it all on black, bet it all on 21. You're betting on
Exactly.
yourself.
Let's go to the casino right now. I'm just joking. Imagine.
Betting on yourself
Yeah.
is the most important thing. That's another thing I've been saying all week long. If you actually you look on the podcast Facebook, and I posted that, like, bet on yourself, like you can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like I'm hanging. That truck is just that teddy bear.
Mm-hmm.
and like I have faith in my creator.
You're gonna
that
get it
he's got
10x,
something
bro.
better, and
Yeah.
it's not even the car, it's my dreams that he's holding.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, if
Yeah.
I don't give up this teddy bear, I don't get my dreams.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
And
You want
it's
to
like-
hold on to this, or you want to
Exactly,
or not
right?
sacrifice, but yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So it's
Mhm.
like, no, it's an investment in myself, investment in like the reduced amount of stress,
Mhm.
a reduction in a lot of things. Like you said, it's something I no longer have to think about. It's just now
It's a huge
just-
weight off your shoulders too, man.
So
Yeah.
now it's just let's grind.
Let's get this money,
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Is
So,
there anything else you guys would like to share? I think we're coming up to the last,
Few
coming up
minutes?
to time, honestly.
Okay.
Anything before we go, though, you guys would like to share?
you got something.
Yeah.
No, I feel like honestly, you just really got to keep going. That's
Keep
all
going.
it is. I feel like there's lessons on lessons on lessons,
Mhm.
and maybe some of the things we're saying doesn't even like maybe feeling like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I see that. But like when you really start fucking grinding
Mhm.
and like you start going through your dark days, like I swear you'll remember these like moments and you're gonna be like, I remember hearing this on that podcast. I remember hearing this here and there, and Alex mentioned this. Jeff mentioned this, and these guys are mentioning it. And it's like, dude, you just got to keep going. Like, entrepreneurship is not fucking easy. I've been doing this almost 9 years. Yeah, and I'm like, I was telling them, I was like, I've been doing this for way too fucking long.
Yeah.
Like, either this fucking company makes it, or I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. There. Exactly. I like that actually. Either this one's gonna make it, or I'm just gonna keep on going.
Because you don't fail until you give up.
Exactly.
When you give up, you can fail. You can have little failures, little downfalls, not
Yeah.
even failures. You can lose. This truck might not even be the
Yeah.
biggest investment for you.
Mhm.
It can happen where you give up the truck and it still doesn't pop off for you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop until you give up.
Exactly.
You don't
You
fail until
you
give up.
only fail when you give up. Everything else besides that is an opportunity to grow. Right. It's not failure unless you stop. In my eyes,
Talk about that all the time.
Exactly.
it's opportunity to get better. You know.
Yep.
We have so many hurdles come up, and
Yeah.
as a team, we're always like, okay, a hurdle came up. Like, what are we gonna learn from this so that we don't do it again?
Like, look at us today. 3 guests. You guys never seen this shit before. Like,
next time it's gonna be 10.
yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah.
I like the way
Absolutely.
you've challenged us so far. But anyways, I'm super excited for you guys to catch this episode. We're gonna put the description in our description the IGs for GemTA, Jeff's IG, Alex's IG. How did I blank your name right now?
It's all good, Chris.
Chris, Josh. I was gonna say Josh. I'm sorry. I can't.
Yeah, he is
I
on Josh.
can't do 10 guests, man. This is even to a minimum for
No,
sure.
we can absolutely bring it.
Yeah, that's what I'm how to do. I think that's what they do on like the big podcasts that they have like 10 people.
Hello, my name is Jeff.
But I definitely put Chris's IG, Alex's IG, and Jeff's IG in the description below. We're super excited for you guys to get your hands on this knowledge. Remember, find your team, because without your team, your dreams just aren't going to be big enough if you can achieve them on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely stay disciplined, stay consistent. That's a really strong one. No matter what, if you don't fail until you give up.
Yep.
And that's been really powerful. I really appreciate you guys for being on, and I can't wait to get this over to you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for
Thanks for inviting
Thank you
us.
guys so much, man.
Until next time.
Yeah, much love, guys.
Stay
Thank
on
you.
business, you guys.